Hello. So we're continuing on with our Moog DFAM questions. So I had the question about, there's is this odd limitation to the sequencer where it's only 8 steps and you can't subtract, you can't add. It is what it is. So the question got asked, how do you deal with this in a larger environment where you have other stuff happening? And I thought I would take it to like the most extreme example of this. So I have a 14-step sequence, so it's we're basically playing in seven. So I've got 7 steps on a drum machine outside. I'm using the Bacillus Iteritas alter, but it doesn't matter. It can be anything that's running in an odd meter, and then this is running in 8. So like, I guess in terms of musical usefulness, it relies on the other sequence being really, really solid and predictable so that this can kind of float over the top because this is going to be running, 8 steps instead of 14. And it's going to move around against the other sequence. But as long as the other sequence is like musically very accessible and makes sense, then I feel like you can do a lot with this. So I'm going to kind of walk you through my thought process a little bit. I haven't really thought about what I'm going to do with this. So here's my other sequence. Okay, so that's like very straightforward. We can change the delay if we want. Okay, so because that's so like obviously a dance beat, even though people don't usually dance in 14, but it gives you sort of a starting point of musical solidness, and then we can kind of take our DFAM and go crazy with it. Alright, so I'm going to assign pitch to VCA decay. Okay, so this is like really 4. So we're going to find ways to mess with that. And let's just think about this. Okay, so let's just hear what that sounds like against the other sequence. So let's not lose the 14, right? Right, so there's our... Alright, so I've changed the cutoff. We've changed to high pass filter, and we've changed cutoff because sort of in musical terms, we feel the beat more from the kick drum. So I'm trying to like keep that feeling. And then let's try changing this to affect both pitches. So the funny thing is, we're so programmed for 4. So what ends up happening a lot is like you start to kind of hear more like this is the center of the beat and the odd meter is the, moving around. just trying to find notes that work. So then, here's an idea. We can also take VCO2. I'm going to put this back and put it to the trigger, because then we're really like messing with what's happening here in terms of how many times we're hearing notes. Okay, so we're assigning pitch to trigger, and we've turned this into a square wave trigger. Way down, VCO2 is assigned to pitch here, so we've got everything just way down, so I can control basically ratcheting. And then the other thing we talked about is we have to unassign pitch from VCA to K, VCO2 to trigger. So this has its own pitfalls because we have to find like a trigger tempo that's working with our main sequence. Alright, so that's kind of fun. Funny thing is hard sync affects this. So that's like a fun thing to try too, is hard sync will change what's happening here. And then we can play around with like, what if we so all I did is switch this to square wave. I'm assigning pitch to both pitches of both oscillators. And then if we go to hard sync, maybe not. And the pitch envelope generator has some effect on this. And we've got something kind of musically useful there. Alright, so I hope this gives you some ideas to play with. There's like a lot in there. It's mostly about, setting up some connections and seeing what's going to musically work for you.